Today, I'm going to talk about data journalism. Data driven journalism, it implies an innovative approach that leverages data analysis and data visualization to enhance storytelling and provide deeper insights into news. It has become a buzzword across the global scenario, especially in media sector. Before getting into data-driven journalism, I must explain what is data. Data is some sort of statistical record or information that may be available in different public domain. However, there are some secret data which the government or such organization is not bound to open up in the public sphere or public domain. Data journalism, sometimes is called as data driven journalism, has grown significantly in importance since 2010 onwards and became a buzzword or catchphrase in the media sector all over the world. However, I must say that the concept of data journalism is nothing new, as it had always existed in the evolution of journalism from print to digital era. And it is also true that data journalism has taken up a new format in storytelling methods where journalists are using different digital tools like AR, VR, and advanced technologies to make their story not just informative but also convincing and appealing to the audience. It is just an antecedent of investigative journalism that started in US in 1990s when journalists took the role of social reformers and publications like the New York Times and Chicago Tribune started to expose corruption and injustices in society. One of the earliest examples is the work of Neely Bly, who in 1887 went undercover in a mental institution to expose the horrific conditions faced by patients. Her groundbreaking expose brought significant attention to mental health reform system in US. In India, media owners or newspapers were partially sponsored by the state or the government, and therefore there were very less chances of investigative journalism till emergency were declared by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, and journalists opposed this decision whereby press freedom was strangulated. Later on, when ICIJ, International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, took initiative to promote transparency and accountability in the governance and unveil the wrongdoings of different power structures across the globe, and this Pandora Papers leak became the first instances of collaborative journalism whereby 11.5 million documents stolen from the Panamanian offshore law firm Mossack Fonseca. These leaked documents revealed the secretive world of illegal transaction of money from anonymous sources, later accounted as belonging to highly influential politicians, to offshore companies and trusts. So, Data journalism is a form of journalism that enables reporters to use quantitative data to uncover the hidden truths, the hidden trends, patterns, and insights that might otherwise go unnoticed. By collecting and analyzing data, journalists can provide readers a deeper understanding of complex issues and present information in a way that is more easily digestible or understandable. While legacy media journalism is often based on anecdotal evidence and personal experience, data journalism relies more on empirical evidence, giving readers a more objective view of a topic or issue. As a result, data journalism has been instrumental in uncovering important stories that might otherwise have gone undisclosed. Data journalism has grown significantly in importance since 2010, as I said earlier, driven by the increased availability of big data and the growing impact of data, algorithms, and artificial intelligence across all sectors of society. Data journalists develop and tell data stories by analyzing and visualizing large sets of data guided by an ethos of openness, transparency, and investigative work. That ethos is reflected in the role and conceptions of data journalists and the potential societal impact of their coverage. Data journalism is construed as a catalyst to improve investigative reporting, to strengthen journalism's role as a watchdog, to hold those in power accountable, and to empower citizens. However, data journalism's potential impact depends largely on the political context, newsroom resources, and journalistic skills and interests and knowledge of the audiences. Its potential impact has yet to be fully realized in India and abroad as well. AI based tools offer opportunities but also present challenges to the production and use of data journalism. More than 100 studies on data journalism have been published in international journals. Data journalism's rise in importance is linked to the digitalization process and datafication, including the increased availability of big data, algorithms, and artificial intelligence across all sectors of society. Large legacy media outlets, including The Guardian, the BBC, the New York Times, and Financial Times, are renowned for innovations in data journalism or in using data journalism and award winning stories. Prominent example of data journalism projects have also originated from international collaborations, as was the case with the Panama Papers and Paradise Papers, which is also known as Pandora Papers. In those investigations of the International Consortium of Investigative Journalists, the leaks of data in huge quantities revealed the secrets that powerful political and economic elites, including politicians, public officials, and business leaders, wanted to hide from the public eye. Recently, the COVID-19 pandemic has amplified the importance and prevalence of data journalism, with many newsrooms using official data to create daily updated visualizations. Although there is no commonly agreed definition of data journalism amongst academics and journalists, most scholars understand it as developing and telling data stories by analyzing and visualizing large sets of data. Journalism has a long standing tradition of reporting data and numbers, not only in precision journalism, that is, legacy journalism, which originated in 1960s and used social sciences techniques to systematically analyze data, but more generally, when data from media releases is incorporated into articles, often without verification or contextualization, it becomes a problematic scenario. So, data journalism is based on data analysis and the presentation of such analysis, meaning that data are analyzed and used as a primary source for storytelling and reporting. This often includes data visualization, such as infographics and dynamic maps with interactive components. Ethical standards and core practices of data journalism comprise an ethos of openness and transparency and of investigative work, including verifying, cross checking data, protecting sources, and contextualizing the data collected from different sources. So, that ethos is reflected in the role conceptions of data journalists and the potential societal impact of their coverage. Now, there are different steps to follow for data journalism. The first step is, of course, is the collection of relevant data that journalists have to gather from different sources, and those sources are public records, that is, government database, court records, financial disclosures, then surveys and polls. So, conducting surveys to gather public opinion or specific information is also another way of collecting data. Then, web scraping, using tools to extract data from websites, and then accessing data from online services through application programming interfaces. Then, the next step is data cleaning. Once data is collected from all these sources, it often requires cleaning to ensure accuracy and usability. This involves removing duplications, and that will ensure that the data set does not contain any repeated entries. Then, handling missing values. So, this is concerning deciding how to deal with incomplete data, whether by filling in gaps or excluding certain entries. or certain data. Third step is standardizing format, whereby or which will ensure consistency in data formats, such as dates and numerical values. So, after cleaning the data collected from various sources, journalists can perform various analysis to uncover hidden trends, patterns, and insights. And those techniques include descriptive statistics, whereby the journalist will summarize data through measures such as mean, median, and mode. Then another analytical technique is comparative analysis. So hereby, the journalist will compare different data sets or two different data sets to highlight the differences or similarities. Similarly, another technique is trend analysis, where the journalist will examine data over time to identify significant changes or development that might happen unnoticed. Then, data visualization. So, visualizing data is crucial for making complex information accessible to the audience. Effective visualization techniques include charts, graphs. Using bar charts, line graphs, and pie charts to present data visually is a common phenomenon. Similarly, infographics. So, journalists use infographics to create an engaging graphics that combine data and narrative elements. Then, interactive dashboards. So, in interactive dashboards, developing online tools that allow users to explore data dynamically, storytelling with data, whereby the journalist can integrate data into storytelling, and thus the data driven journalism actually happens. Then, contextualizing data. So, providing a background information to help the audience understand the significance of the data. The journalist can also use anecdotes, whereby the journalist will combine his or her personal stories or experiences with data to humanize the information and make it relatable. Then, maintaining clarity is also another important factor. So, ensuring that the data presented is clear and understandable, avoiding jargons that may confuse readers. Ethical considerations, meaning data driven journalism, also comes with ethical responsibilities. Data journalists must verify sources and ensure that the data used is credible and comes from reliable sources. Then the data journalist also has to protect privacy. They have to be mindful of the privacy implications of using personal data. Then avoid the journalist has to avoid misrepresentation of data. So the journalist has to present data accurately and avoid cherry picking statistics to support a biased narrative. Now, I'm giving an example of data journalism. So, here I'm using a data set which I've collected from Police Computer Wing and State Crime Records Bureau, published in July 2022. So, as per the report, the crime review on different categories of crime happening in Karnataka. The first is murder, second, dacoity, third, robbery, then burglary, then theft, riots, hurt, and local news, then crime against women, then POSCO 11 section and POSCO Act 12, security cases, cyber crimes, economic offenses, and motor vehicles theft cases. So, as per this report, the murder. So, as per this report, there is an increase in the reported cases of murder during the month of June and July 2020 to 2022 when compared to the cases of previous month, and a decrease when compared to the corresponding month of the previous year. Then the crime rates and safety issues in India. So if I want to convert it to a data story, my lead can be like this. Crime is an unfortunate reality that affects lives, communities, and the overall progress of a nation. In India, the complexity of crime varies across regions, influenced by economic conditions, law enforcement efficiency, and societal norms. Now, I'm contextualizing this data. The National Crime Records Bureau plays a crucial role in tracking and analyzing crime trends, helping policymakers and law enforcement agencies make informed decisions. Different types of crimes are already predominant in India, while categorizing them under different forms that influences the increased or decreased rate of crime has been on the higher side or on the lower side depending on the several social factors. Now, the body of the story, based on this crime report, if I can go elaborate, amongst different types of crime as categorized in different terminologies, the crimes involving physical harm or threats to an individual's safety is of paramount importance. So, the in part of the story can be an analysis of the reason behind it. So the first reason can be the economic struggles. Poverty and unemployment push many illegal activities. Lack of education, without knowledge, opportunities shrink, leading to poor choices. Weak law enforcement, that is, corruption and inefficiency, allow criminals to evade justice. The political influence. Now, towards the end of the same story, the data journalist can conclude the story like this. What has been done to stop such crime? The government has introduced several initiatives like stringent laws, acts like POSCO for child protection and Domestic Violence Act help the people to tackle such crime. Then police reforms. So by way of modernizing law enforcement, the government of India is trying to improve efficiency. Then cybercrime units. The government of India has put forward a placed specialized teams to fight digital crimes. Public awareness campaigns. So programs like Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, which promotes women's safety. Then fast track courts, speeding up justice for serious offences has also been instituted by the Government of India. Similarly, surveillance technology has been used to uh, track down the crime and the criminals. So, increased use of CCTV cameras and AI driven crime detection technologies are being used by the police and the different departments of the government. So, the challenges in crime prevention, despite progress, India faces challenges in controlling crime, maybe because of slow judicial system, cases take years delaying justice, corruption like bribery and political ties hinder fair investigation, lack of public trust in police. Many fear reporting crimes will lead to some sort of harassment, rising cybercrime. Technology evolves faster than law enforcement can keep up or can keep themselves updated. Deep rooted societal issues like gender biased violence and caste discrimination persist. So, the crime data, after analyzing the public data sets on crime rates and safety issues in India, reveals that significant insights can be digged into and the country's law enforcement challenges and other societal issues. So, utilizing data from the National Crime Records Bureau and other reputable sources, we can discern patterns and trends that inform both policy making and public awareness. So, in my crime report, I have used all these data sources like NCRB reports. So, the NCRB publishes comprehensive annual reports detailing crime statistics across India. The Crime in India 2022 report, available in Open Cities Urban Data Portal, it also offers a detailed statistics at state level and city level on various categories of different types of crime. Then Open City Urban Data Portal, then Crime Dataset Repository. So this repository provides year-wise crime statistics in India, which is sourced from open government data. It includes data from 1969 onwards, covering various crime categories at national, state, and city levels. The data visualization tools that I have used in this crime report, that is India's crime trained dashboard, which is an interactive platform that analyzes crime data from 2001 to 2022, focusing on alarming trends such as rape and suicide. I've also used Python libraries like Pandas and Plotly Express for visualization. And also, I've used a website that is Crime in India, a website that simplifies access to crime statistics for over 15 Indian cities, allowing users to compare crime data and assess city safety crime rates in India. So, the different data visualization tools that are used in this report or in this news report, I would say. First is India's crime trend dashboard, and which is an interactive platform that analyzes crime data from 2001 to 2022, focusing on alarming trends such as rape and suicide. It utilizes Python libraries like Pandas and Plotly Express for visualization. Similarly, I've used Crime in India, a website, Crime in India, that simplifies access to crime statistics for over 50 Indian cities, allowing users to compare crime data and assess city safety measures. Similarly, I've also used Crime Against Women Data Visualization, which is a Python based tool that analyzes and visualizes crime data related to offenses against women across different states and union territories in India, offering insights into crime trends and comparisons. And the key findings of this study are as follows, like rising crime rates. So the data indicates there is an upward trend in certain types of crimes over the years. For instance, the Crime in India 2022 report highlights increases in specific categories necessitating targeted interventions. Similarly, regional disparities. So, crime rates vary significantly across states and cities. So, tools like Crime in India enable comparisons revealing areas with higher incidences of particular crime. Similarly, the Crime Against Women dataset provides district wise data from uh, 2001 to 2020, highlighting patterns in such offenses such as rape, kidnapping, and domestic violence. Visualizations from this dataset can aid in identifying high risk areas and formulating protective measures. So, there I have used Mendeley data. So, there are also challenges. What are those challenges? Like limited resources for journalism and a lack of data oriented skills that are additional barriers to the widespread adoption of data journalism in the newsroom, particularly in India. In practicing or implementing data journalism, there are certain challenges. First of all, limited resources for journalism and a lack of data oriented skill sets that are additional barriers to the widespread adoption of data journalism in newsrooms, especially in India. Data journalism is practiced by a small but growing number of specialized journalists who typically work in large organizations like The Guardian, New York Times, but predominantly remains marginal in local and regional media outlets. Practiced only by a few journalists who engage in data driven news work alongside their regular duties. like regular assignments. In most countries, journalism in general faces financial obstacles or constraints to such an extent that many newsrooms have experienced severe staff cuts in recent decades and needed to produce more content with minimum resources. These obstacles also affect the resources allocated to data journalism because such in depth analysis and storytelling tends to be very, very expensive and time consuming. Moreover, many newsrooms lack staff with strong data skill sets and rarely offer in house training programs to acquire such skills which will be required for data journalism. Even though a growing number of journalists are interested in learning those skill sets, the uh, organizations, many of the small organizations cannot afford to training for the journalists. So, in local and regional news organizations, training in data journalism thus often depends on the journalist's own initiative. Therefore, journalism education at universities also often lacks training programs in data literacy. Even specialized education in data journalism tends to exclude training programs in ethics and transparency and the development of deeper, more critical data literacy. In some cases, these shortcomings can cause journalists to leave their main work of data journalism and thus they become just a technologist or statisticians who in some cases have used their journalistic skills. So, in other words, data journalists may work on data teams composed of individuals with complementary skills or use networks with scientists, software programmers, and journalists from other news outlets or media houses. All of them engage in collaborative newsroom work and exchanging or exchanges that are mutually beneficial. So, overall, data journalism is more prevalent in Western countries than elsewhere due to the need for data access, digital infrastructure, newsroom resources, and trained personnel or trained journalists. Even so, it is also increasingly adopted and practiced in non Western societies as well, including Pakistan, China, Indonesia, Nigeria, and of course, India.